Didn't really foresee gaming as a career at all until there was a contract in my hands, I'll be honest. I think I went from like Iron to Immortal in like 6-ish months or something like that.
1, 2, 3, fly!
I think it's hard to commit full-time to Valorant. It's kind of an all or nothing, but the all could be at the cost of your actual real life.
I started having issues with my wrist probably a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, like where it started to feel like it was going to impact my playing. So I was definitely scared about my future and what was going to take place. I'm Lacey, also known as Lace, and I currently play Valorant for FlyQuest Red. So I've definitely done a lot of like extracurriculars in my like history of being alive. And I think when you do a lot of different things, you learn how to get better. In my opinion, I think that's one skill that can transfer between any activity is like knowing how to improve. I normally just like mess around with it. Honestly, like even during our matches, I would mess around with it. It's like during timeout or something. Like, I don't know, I get really bored.
Lacey has always been the type of kid that would get interested in something and take it to the highest extreme, so 110% all the way. It was always very competitive with her brothers, even though they're older, but she could always keep up with them.
You know, checkerboard donuts are always good. Like one of these. You like this one? You can get some flowers going. You like flowers? Wow. I personally love flowers. So.
I mean, I've never known anyone like her in terms of her commitment to whatever she's into. I mean, we first saw it when she was about 18 months. And she started shooting baskets out on the driveway, a basket that could go lower. And she wouldn't just do it for 5 minutes, she would do it for hours. She got so good at it that a boy across the street who was a high school basketball player would bring his friends over, knock on the door and say, "Can Lacey come out and show all my teammates how she shoots?" And that was the first of it.
Nice. Backwards good, backwards good. In. Nice set.
So Lacey started playing volleyball when she was in middle school. She got so into it, she wanted to start exploring more competitive ways to play.
I really liked just like the feeling of like team play and kind of like the flow of how the points would go. The feeling you'd get when you like would really connect with your teammates. Nice! Nice, Daniel. Before COVID, I was talking with like a bunch of coaches about potentially playing in college. Unfortunately, COVID kind of happened. Didn't really get to see it through. I had pretty much like constant back issues. So I definitely couldn't really play, or when I did play, I would like play through pain a lot, which is definitely rough, but I really enjoyed the sport, so I don't know, it made it worth it, I would say. When like COVID hit, I also got injured for volleyball, so I had free time on my hands and I needed like a new passion at the time. And so I discovered Pokemon, and Valorant had just kind of like come out. I was watching her stream and it looked like a fun game to play, I guess. So I downloaded it on my like notebook, ran like 10 FPS, but I was pretty hard stuck iron. I think I was iron for like 2 acts. I have like full iron triangle. Instead of just playing to play, I like set my goals pretty early on trying to get to like the top level or as best as I could. So instead of just like playing mindlessly, I would say I played pretty intentfully. I might still have them, but I would have like Google Docs of like, oh, I messed up this round, like, oh my God, like never peek this angle again, please, like don't do that. So I just wanted to make sure that every game I was getting better. So I was able to climb pretty quick. I think I went from like Iron to Immortal in like 6-ish months or something like that. I'd also say I owe a lot of it to like Ali Monster, who was my first like manager and coach. She was like smurfing in like a gold lobby at one point. And I don't know why she liked me, or for some reason she like invited me to her group of like boomers, kind of like Van Silly, Derek, Jimmy Lin. I'm sure you've heard him on the VCT broadcast, but they really like brought me into their like boomer group and like taught me the fundamentals of FPS. Even though like I was doing some on my own time, I definitely owe some of like the exponential improvement to them, because they really like got me in a place where I could kind of start playing with a team. At the time, I was kind of balancing like Valorant and volleyball, and like it got to the point where the tournaments were starting to conflict a lot, and I had to like kind of make a choice. And I think the main event of one of the game changers was on the same weekend as one of like our national qualifiers. It was like, I would say, very difficult to decide kind of, because like you can't really do both. The tournament was in like Denver or something, and like I remember my dad looking up like a LAN center that I could play from and seeing if the schedule would work out.
You hate the thought of not supporting something your kid is passionate about. And I could tell she was absolutely split between gaming and volleyball and really torn. I don't want her to miss either. So I'm trying to figure out how can we get a PC down there and be in a place with enough, wire capacity, and how could I like race her to the facility so she could play and then get back to the game.
I convinced them that like, hey, like this is a really good opportunity. Like, oh look, like these teams are getting signed. Like maybe one day I can be the same. So let me skip that tournament. And then after that tournament, Complexity reached out, and it was kind of like I didn't really look back. I think Complexity was a great like growing experience for me. I was there for 2.5 years, in like very formative years, I would say, of my life. Like 16 to 18 probably is pretty important as a human to learn how to interact with people, and I would definitely say I interacted with many kinds of people, and I definitely learned something from everyone I played with.
I remember back in 2021, and I was at the Complexity headquarters, and I remember standing behind her, watching her play, and I was like, this girl's gonna be legit with time. And the mentality that she has is extremely competitive. She comes from a competitive like sports background, and to me that's a very big thing, because you have to be able to understand what it's like to be in a team dynamic, having a coach and the respect of, if a coach is going to tell you something, it's for a reason. Lace has a very, very good head on her shoulders when it comes to that.
I started having issues with my wrist, like probably 1.5 years, almost 2 years ago, I would say, like where it started to feel like it was going to impact my playing. Yeah, I keep like a journal, and I remember I had like one entry where I was like, I don't know how much longer I can do this. And that was like start of like 2023. So I was definitely scared about my future and what was gonna take place. At that time, I kind of made like maybe not the best decision, which was to keep playing through it instead of taking an extended break, because I wasn't sure how the extended break would go with my team, like if I would get dropped, stuff like that. Luckily, with all my volleyball experience, I was pretty accustomed to playing through pain. Pretty much the entire last year, I was playing pretty impaired, pretty much just pushing through every day. I had to cut back on ranked, everything outside of practice and matches.
Pro gaming is extremely competitive, and if you can't compete to tournaments, usually you don't make it long on a squad. So if you have injuries that prohibits you from playing or that diminishes your performances, there's not a lot of room for support.
It's kind of hard. Like before the last Game Changers, I think we were second or third in points, so we definitely had a really good shot to make like Brazil last year. Even I knew like deep down that I should not be playing anymore, but I never like to let my team down if I can help it.
Into a 2-on-2, a nigh unwinnable round. The timing from Lace.
I could definitely feel my like body kind of like breaking down.
Excel has utility, but she's taken down by Raze very swiftly. Here comes the paranoia. There's that tap on the spike. Where is the time being bought? Because Kingsley's still hitting shots with that operator, and she's done enough. Evil geniuses eliminate Complexity.
Like I remember like the moment that we lost, it was like I was stuck in time and just like replaying like all of the pain I had experienced throughout the year. It was especially difficult because I knew that in the last match I had really underperformed and let my team down. But I felt pretty like destroyed in that moment. Like not just because my hand was in pain. Like I put in so much, and all my teammates had put in so much, and I just could not like maintain my performance, unfortunately.
That was a clip I remember. Look at that, you have the red cape. That's you, that's you.
At the end of last year, I took a big break. So when I came back to FlyQuest, I was feeling decent, but I definitely had not really addressed like the underlying issue, which was that I was super weak in my hands, especially. So I kind of like had a re-flare up of my issues last year.
With the RED program, we really want women and gender expanding people to have the best place they can be in esports in the world. we really want to give them as many resources as we can so they can reach their full potential and be the best people and players they can be. When we pick up a player on Red, we don't pick them up for like 1 month, 2 months. We usually know they're the right fit, and we try to really support them in every hardship that they can encounter. And when Lace started having really big wrist issues, it was just natural for everyone at FlyQuest to say, we have to continue to support her, we have to give her all the tools to recover so that she can keep competing, especially under FlyQuest.
So I'm currently on the bench for FlyQuest, but luckily FlyQuest has been able to set me up with a really good physical therapist at 1 HP. And so they've been helping me like strengthen and make sure I'm on the right path to like long-term recovery instead of just short-term relief.
In terms of the exercises that I've prescribed for her, I think the most important category is the endurance-based exercises. So when she uses the dumbbell, we're always performing those at higher overall repetitions. And then in terms of the stretches, those are what I consider to be, restoring your HPs. But she's been really consistent with everything that I've recommended for her. And as a result of that, she's been able to see a lot of progress.
Like when I first started doing it, I had like this one. Sorry, to like in the shop. I used this like little 2-pounder because I was very weak. But now, yeah, a little bit stronger.
Okay, well, how's everything been going?
It's been going well, yeah.
End of Sunday, after the 5 games, how did it feel?
It felt good, honestly. I stretched a little bit after and it felt pretty good, I would say.
So no real weakness or stiffness or lack of control?
It definitely felt a little stiff, I would say. Like I felt like very sluggish, I guess, in my hand. But I definitely felt like in control, I guess, which was definitely an improvement in my opinion.
And then your main tournament is beginning of June. So with that in mind, what is the most that you would have to play during that time?
It would be like 6-6, break 6-6 for like max games, I think.
I mean, that's our goal, right? Like we have to get to 6-6.
Mm-hmm.
And just realize, right, like if we don't, then I'm still gonna allow you to play because it's the main tournament of the year.
Yeah.
Like it may cause a mild,
like flare up?
I guess, mild flare up, but we know how to get back to it. It just means we'll have to, rework it back up if that happens. But I think it's going to be less likely with how much you've been working at it.
Lace had to come last minute a bit on GC2, but it was still after 2 months or 3 months that she was doing physical therapy and kind of being on her progression back to full time. And during that event, it became, I think, really clear for the whole team that even though she got much better and her wrist was becoming stronger, her endurance was really struggling in long best of 3s as well as long best of 5.
Honestly, leading up to GC2, it was pretty poor. I wasn't really supposed to be playing long hours. I definitely was struggling a lot towards the end. I don't know, something deep down has been kind of telling me that it's time for a change. Part of me wishes I could keep playing Valorant forever, but unfortunately with my hand and the ecosystem, it's not really super viable. So yeah, the GC scene is definitely struggling a little bit right now. I think all of Valorant is struggling right now, I would say.
I think it's hard to commit full time to Valorant. Even if you're aspiring pro, premier, or GC, they don't really allow you to have an amateur level progression. It requests people to be able to play during the day at any time. It's kind of an all or nothing, but the all could be at the cost of your actual real life without having a contract, without having a future secured in gaming in front of you.
I've been doing part-time college for about 1.5 years now. It's definitely something that's been in the back of my mind because especially with so many orgs pulling out, it's definitely pretty scary to put all your faith into continuing to play professionally for your entire life, I think collegiate Valorant has been on the rise, in my opinion. I feel like there's so many teams that are both good and also have good educational aspects to them, and making sure that you're set up for the rest of your life in other ways that are not Valorant. But I'm definitely grateful to the staff at UC Irvine for letting me come on and pursuing my education. Honestly, I guess I don't really know if it's the right decision at the moment. And I've always really wanted to go to school and find something long-term that I can be fulfilled and happy doing. And I do think that school is the right option at this moment to hopefully find the next thing for me.
Yo!
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yo!
I present to you The Farmhouse Collection.
Lace is trying to find a timing here. It's all of these footsteps. There's that lineup on 3.
I know we're gonna put it all in, so I'm excited to play the matches.
Hella inspirational.
Let's win, right? Can we win or no?